First question I ask everybody, so you're the next one. Can you explain what summit? I think this is totally good. The question for you. Can you explain what the Summit of the Future is to our audience in a very interesting way? Because we know you just explained it, but how to attract normal people attention, not the politicians. And secondly, I disagree respectfully with your disagreement. But we saw all those agendas and actions, SDG acceleration agenda, new agenda for peace. We heard a lot of those, reform of the Security Council. But let me put that aside. If we have this Pact of Future, how much can we expect the implementation of this very important document? And third, this is obviously a watered down, compromised version of Pact of the Future. How far away is this from Secretary General's imagination or, expectation? Thank you.
I always try to say things in an interesting way, not just for the people in this room, but for the world in general. Look, there is always, is there not, this thought that whatever happens in this building and in multilateral negotiations is rather distant from people's realities, everyday life. That's the nature of multilateral negotiations. So you have to scratch beneath the surface. You have to go underneath the formalities and sometimes language which is not easily accessible. But if we succeed in getting agreement from 193 member states on actions that will secure governance of new technologies that will spread benefits much more widely through inclusion, through connectivity, through the governance of artificial intelligence. If we're able, you've heard it before, to accelerate SDGs, if we're able to revamp the United Nations peace operations, if we are able to initiate the changes that will make the Security Council more effective, yes, this will influence people's lives. Will it happen the day after the pact is gavelled? No. It needs, and you pointed to the key here, it needs implementation. It needs implementation. And I think I have to recognise, looking at the content of the pact, which I still want to commend to you as a very positive thing, that a great deal depends on what happens with the commitments that are made, the implementation. So I follow you entirely that everything depends on the level of implementation. You've made the point. Security Council reform, we've heard it before. SD, we've heard it before. But it's not the questions, it's the answers. There are new answers to the questions contained in this pact, and that is what makes it not just worth having, but very important to have.
How far away from the expectation of safety?
Sorry. You can judge for yourself by a very easy process. Last year, the Secretary General published 11 policy briefs, which were his proposals to the summit. This is what he ideally would have liked to see. And he was very clear. He said, these are what I believe are the proper ambitions we should reach for. And he made those proposals in full cognizance of the fact that not all of these would meet with the agreement of member states. I leave it to you to take those policy briefs, look at the Pact for the Future as we hope it will be adopted in 10 days' time, and measure the gap. They are not identical. It would be futile to say that they are. But what is interesting is that the contours and structure of the Pact follow very clearly the content of those policy briefs. So the SG has set the content agenda in a very, very, I think, successful way.